Strange Block Beats.
told. Better humble yourself before you lock me. Putting down each other while they pointing at our brother. Trying to break us up, so let's just lean to one another. Ain't no giving up, so pass the cup and make it up. Times, yeah, they get rough. I got your back, it ain't no trouble. He knows, ring around the rosy. Come and get his cozy. We all fall down. I see a lot of stones thrown, but they clock the same clothes. Gotta put some time in. Let he who's without he, who's without he, who's without sin. Let he who's without he, who's without he, who's without sin. Let he who's without he, who's without he, who's without sin. Let he who's without he, who's without he, who's without sin.
Hey, big salute, family. This your brother Kjudah. And I got my brother Sham with me. And we give all praise to the Most High Yahweh in faith in the only begotten Son, Yahshua HaMashiach. And we also say Yahweh Shar. To the beloved family in the chat, we say big salute to the CUC family, the FOPE family. I want to say this, family. I pray that everybody enjoy the feast days that's coming up. The Lord's feast days is coming up, family, and the first one is Passover. And after that, the Feast of Unleavened Bread for 7 days. And I'm praying for the nation worldwide that everybody enjoy their feast. I'm also praying, family, that whatever quarrels or whatever you got against your brother or sister, maybe y'all at odds, when these feasts come around, not just when the feasts come around, it should be, the 365 days of your life. Remove all that leaven and malice and whatever you got towards your brothers and sisters. Remove that stuff, man. Don't just wait till the feast come around and then you want to get the leaven out. Get the leaven out, period. Just be a new creature, period. Try not to have quarrels and fight with your people, because at the end of the day, it's just a waste of time. Hating each other, fighting each other, animosity. Yeah, sometimes you bump heads, but you shouldn't be letting that thing carry on, for like days and weeks and months and years. And now next thing you know, you hate that person. So let all that stuff go. Enjoy the feast of the Lord that he prepared for us. Have y'all holy convocation. Enjoy the food. Enjoy the music. Enjoy one another's company. And I just pray for the nation that everybody make it safe to the feast, make it back home safe from the feast, and that all our feasts that's coming up in our year, this new year for us, that it be a blessing to you all. Sham, talk to him.
I agree with my big brother KG to 100%. Shalom to the family, the folk family, CUC family, AUDIC family. I love all of y'all, all the moderators, all the loyal brothers and sisters that come over here to learn from us. We appreciate y'all support, y'all comments, Tim, all the information you send and everybody. We appreciate it. And we love y'all to death, man. We love y'all. Most High bless, family.
Already. So, as you see the title, and I want to give a big shout out to our brother Pedro, our beloved brother Pedro. He asked a question, good question. And me and Sham want to get an understanding to Pedro and the rest of our family who may be, just seeking this understanding. So, as you see the title, it says the understanding of Jacob and his 4 wives and adultery and fornication. Me and Sham job tonight is to show you not only was Jacob not in adultery or fornication, because these wives that he had, we're going to show They was not betrothed to anybody. They was not promised to anybody. So he could not have been in adultery or fornication. And I want to say this. You also have spiritual fornication. See, people just look at the sexual part of fornication, but you also have spiritual fornication. So if I had a woman who want to worship idols in my presence, I can leave her for that. If she don't want to change and stop worshiping idols, I can leave her for that. So it ain't always just about sexual fornication. We also have spiritual fornication. Anything you want to say before we get started, Sham?
Exactly. I agree 100% on what you're saying, brother. You know, 100%. Let's get it rocking.
You heard my brother. Let's get it rocking. All right, family. We're going to go straight to the point. We're going to Genesis. We're going to start this off in verse 27. Chapter 27 and verse 1. Chapter 27 and verse 1. Hold on. I think I'm in the wrong spot. Hold on, fam. I told y'all sometimes I like to go off the dome just to sharpen myself up with the scriptures. We're going to start this off in Genesis chapter 28. Genesis chapter 28. And then we're going to me and Sham going to do this. We're going to go from 28 to 29 to 30. Then we're just going to work our way to where we're trying to go. So this is Genesis 28 and verse 1, y'all. Genesis 28 and verse 1. And it reads, and Isaac called Jacob and blessed him and charged him and said unto him, thou should not take a wife of the daughters of Canaan. Arise, go to Padanaram, to the house of Bethuel, thy mother's father, and take thee a wife from thence of the daughters of Laban, thy mother's brother. Of the daughters of Laban. What y'all just heard?
Daughter. We heard, right, the word daughters of Laban. So we know for a fact that he told them off top where to take a wife from.
Absolutely.
The daughters of his uncle Laban. Go ahead, though.
Verse 3. And I, most high Yah Almighty, bless thee and make thee fruitful and multiply thee, that thou mayest be a multitude of people, and give thee the blessings of Abraham to thee and to thy seed with thee, that thou mayest inherit the land wherein thou art a stranger, which Elohim gave unto Abraham. And Isaac sent away Jacob, and he went to Padanaram, and unto Laban, son of Bethuel the Syrian, the brother of Rebekah. Y'all heard that? The brother of Rebekah. These are all kinfolk.
Right. And let's establish this, Kjudah. I don't mean to cut you off.
No, you got it.
Let's establish this. Remember, Abraham told him to take a wife from the daughters of Laban. You got many Israelites that teach that Zilpah and Bilhah are heathens or from another nation or claiming that they're Africans. There's no scriptures provided. There's no blood genealogy in the scriptures that we went over that show or prove that they was of any other nation. But we do have scripture prove that they're an Israelite lineage and they were of the Syrian people, which are the people of Laban, which are the people of Israel, which are Hebrews. So we, as you can see the clues, he told them not to take a wife of the Canaanites, letting them know don't make any covenant with any heathen women, and also to take someone of his bloodline, a wife of the daughters of Laban. Go ahead, Kjudah.
And to bag my brother up, if you go look up the names of Zerah and Beerah, they are Semitic names. Semitic, not Hamitic, Semitic. I just want to put that out there. So now, Sham, we got the understanding, family, that Isaac told Jacob, don't take no daughters, no wife of the Canaanites, but go to your mother's brother, your kinfolk, and get a wife. Let's go over to Genesis chapter 29. Genesis chapter 29. And we're going to pick it up at verse 1. Then I'll tell you when I'm going to skip down. Genesis chapter 29. And me and my brother going to pick it up at verse 1. And it reads, then Jacob went on his journey and came into the land of the people of the east. And he looked, and behold, a well in the field, and lo, there 3 flocks of sheep lying by it. For out of that well they watered the flocks, and a great stone was upon the well's mouth, and thither were all the flocks gathered. And they rolled the stone from the well's mouth, and watered the sheep, and put the stone again upon the well's mouth in his place. Now jump down to I'll pick it up at verse. Man, I just keep reading. Verse 4. And Jacob said unto them, my brethren, whence be ye? And they said, of Haran are we. And he said unto them, know ye Laban, the son of Nahor? And they said, we know him. And he said unto them, is his well? And they said, he is well. And behold, Rachel his daughter cometh with the sheep. And he said, lo, it is yet high day, neither is it time that the cattle should be gathered together. Water ye the sheep, and go and feed them. And they said, we cannot, until all the flocks be gathered together, until they rolled the stone from the well's mouth. Then we watered the sheep. And while he yet spake with them, Rachel came with her father's sheep, for she kept them. And it came to pass, when Jacob saw Rachel, the daughter of Laban, his mother's brother, and the sheep of Laban, his mother's brother, that Jacob went near and rolled the stone from the well's mouth, and watered the flock of Laban, his mother's brother. And Jacob kissed Rachel, and lifted up his voice and wept. And Jacob told Rachel that he was her father's brother, and that he was Rebekah's son. And she ran and told her father. And it came to pass, when Laban heard the tidings of Jacob, his sister's son, that he ran to meet him, embraced him, and kissed him, and brought him to his house. And he told Laban all these things. And Laban said to him, surely thou art my bone and my flesh. And he abode with him the space of a month. And Laban said unto Jacob, because thou art my brother, shouldest thou therefore serve for me for nothing? Tell me, what should thy wages be? And Laban had 2 daughters. The name of the eldest was Leah, and the name of the younger was Rachel. Leah was tender-eyed, but Rachel was beautiful and well-favored. And Jacob loved Rachel, and said, I will serve these 7 years for Rachel, the younger daughter. And Laban said, go ahead.
I don't mean to cut you off, but we got to establish family too. For understanding reasons that at this time, when Laban is presenting his daughters, when he said that he have 2 daughters basically of marriageable age at the time for Isaac, for Jacob, because the other daughters were young, so they wasn't eligible for marriage. So by the time he even got to Zilpah and Bilhah, they were older, because it took them 14 years just to get to Rachel. It took them 7 years to get to Leah. You see what I'm saying? So someone who's underage at a certain time, within another 14 years, I'm pretty sure they would be by the time age of a maiden by then. You know what I'm saying, Kjudah, depending on how old the girls were.
Yep.
But they wasn't at marriageable age at the time. So somebody at marriageable age would say, I got 2 daughters, he would present them. That's at a marriageable age or around the age of being married and, not at a marriageable age. Well, go ahead, KG.
Absolutely. Thank you for pointing that out, my brother. And I want y'all to notice Rachel and Leah are mentioned because they are the focal point of the story. That does not negate the other sisters. It's just like when you read about the genealogies of Adam. Adam had a bunch of sons and daughters, but who are named in Genesis chapter 5. The main players of the story. Seth, Methuselah. See what I'm saying? Enoch. The main players are named, but he had a bunch of sons and daughters, and we don't know all of their names because they are not the main focal point of the story. So just because somebody is not named does not mean they're not important. It is focusing on Leah and Rachel. I just want to point that out, as Sham said. So now that y'all see that Laban told Jacob, I have 2 daughters. Rachel, she was very beautiful. And Leah, she was tender eye. Tender eye doesn't mean this woman was ugly. It's just that her sister looked better than her. Her sister was more beautiful than her. That's it.
And let's make sense of it, the story too, as well. As far as the Zilpah and Bilhah not being mentioned, it's not that those women could have been promised to Jacob, the other daughters. It's the fact that he's there alone and his parents is not there to establish a covenant with them. You know how like back then they would say, well, I'm gonna let my daughter marry your son and when they get older so we can promise them to each other. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
This is not sort the situation. This is him traveling to his family house on his own, trying to get a wife. Right. So go ahead, KG.
Already. Verse 19. And Laban said, it is better that I give her to thee, that thou shouldest give her to another man. Abide with me. And Jacob served 7 years for Rachel. And they seemed unto him but a few days, for the love that he had for her. And Jacob said unto Laban, give me my wife. What y'all notice again? See, we got to keep pointing this out. Once Jacob humbled Rachel, what did he just say? Give me my wife. Once you humble a woman, you can't just throw her away.
Now, the word for humble in the Hebrew is ainah. And that word also means ravish, which is interchangeable with the word rape in English. But that doesn't mean that he raped her or like how brothers want to use, because humble is meaning that he subdued the woman to make her pretty much submit to him as he's the master. It's because the Hebrew is tricky, but that's what it is when you humble someone or anah. Okay, like the word is used all through the Bible where men humbled other men, or it says, or like the Most High told Moses to humble yourself, meaning submit yourself and settle down.
Absolutely.
But it wasn't what you would call rape, because some people out here are ignorant. You know what I'm saying, Kjudah?
Absolutely.
So that's what it is. When a man humbles a woman, she pretty much submitting herself to him, and now he's the master, pretty much, and she's supposed to serve and follow the man, pretty much. But go ahead, Kjudah, whenever you're ready.
Verse 21. And Jacob said unto Laban, give me my wife, for my days are fulfilled, that I may go in unto her. And Laban gathered together all the men of the place and made a feast. And it came to pass in the evening that he took Leah, his daughter, and brought her to him. And he went in unto her. And Laban gave unto his daughter Leah Zilpah, his maid, for a handmaid. And it came to pass that in the morning, behold, it was Leah. And he said to Laban, what is this that thou hast done unto me? Did I not serve thee for Rachel? Wherefore then hast thou beguiled me? And Laban said, it must not be so done in our country, to give the
Mhm.
younger before the firstborn. It would have been good for him to tell a man that though.
That's true. But let's revisit that because we know that Jacob wasn't beguiled. And the reason why I say that because everybody know when you having sexual intercourse with somebody, you know who you having sexual intercourse with. Whether you're in a tent, whether you dark. And I'm pretty sure Leah and Rachel was not exactly the same size. And you know, a woman is a virgin, man, and never been touched before. There's gonna be some squeamish, some, you know what I'm saying, K Judah, when you doing the do, you know,
Yeah, I got you.
when you know, not trying to be graphic, but we know Jacob knew who he was entering in when he went in her. So, you know what I mean? But like I said, it was just another way for him to get another wife, if you ask me. But we just gotta be honest. You doing a do with somebody and y'all in there talking. I know he know that that was her, unless Leah just was completely quiet and silent and didn't want to say anything. What you think, though, K. Judah?
Unless they got him drunk.
But this wasn't
Boy was
well.
loaded.
We right.
Unless he
This
was
wasn't no
loaded.
lot situation,
For
right?
real. 'Cause boy, if he was drunk, that's the only that he had to be drunk to say he begot them. That's how
Right.
you know. That's how I'm looking at it when he say, "Man, what man? Now you tricked me, dog." Now, like you just said, it's either way. This man was drunk or they was so piss black in that room. All he just was doing was you know they was doing the do. But come on now, everybody body shape is different, and I know he looked at Rachel plenty of times. He looked at Leah. He saw the two daughters, but when Sham just asked me, he must have been sloppy drunk.
hmm But
You know what I'm saying?
yeah, but we don't believe that though. But to the I believe the sister Artara, it says that Bilhah and Zilpha is the younger daughters or sisters and the daughters in the book of Jasher. But go ahead whenever you're ready, K. Judah.
Already. Verse 26. And Laban said, it must not be so done in our country to give the younger before the firstborn. Fulfill her week. Me and Sham did a lesson not too long ago when we were showing how days can turn to years and how a week can turn to years. He just told
hmm
Jacob to fulfill her week. A week is 7 days. So how long did he work when he just say fulfill her week? It was 7 more years, fam. So this
hmm
week represent years. I just want to point that
hmm
out. Week represent years if the most I want to turn it to weeks, or the most I could turn a day to a year. So when the children of Israel went and searched the land of Canaan, they did it for 40 days. But he say each day when you went to search that land, it's gonna be for a year. So you're gonna be in this wilderness for 40 years, each day for a year.
And that's why 1,000 years can be one day
Yep.
because
All
the
the years can
time
be one day.
frame is it works differently. So that's the reason why, you know what I mean? 1,000 days, I mean, 1,000 years can be exactly one day as well. That's the
Verse
reason
20.
why, you know.
Absolutely. Verse 27. Fulfill her week, and we will give thee this also for the service, which thou shalt serve with me yet 7 other years. And Jacob did so and fulfill her week. And he gave him Rachel, his daughter, to wife also. And Laban gave to Rachel his daughter Bilhah, his maid, to
Now,
be her maid.
right now, let's establish what we just saw, family. 14 years just passed. 14 years. And he's giving his one of his older daughters, the other daughter, to be a servant to the daughter. Now, we can find this in the scriptures and prove that a a brother can serve his brothers or a sister. If you go to can you get where it says that Canaan shall be a servant unto his brothers, a servant of servants, the curse that Noah put on Canaan,
I got
to show you that you can serve your brother or sister, just like it says, or we could use another example where it says the elder shall serve the younger, meaning Esau will serve Jacob. You see what I'm saying, family?
you.
So I just wanted to show y'all that
I got you.
your brother or sister can be a servant unto you. It's not a slave, but a servant.
This is Genesis chapter 9, verse 25. And it reads, and he said, cursed be Canaan, a servant of servants shall he be until his brethren. There you go.
See that? So as y'all can see, family, Noah even did that to Canaan, but he said, cursed be him. The difference between what happened with Canaan, the Canaanites, and what happened to Zilpah and Bilhah is that they were not cursed. So when I try to tell people, because they will say they were slaves, they were born women. They were not born women at all. They were not slaves. I know you might see that sometimes in a Hebrew dictionary and stuff like that. They were not born women. They were not captive girls. They were not enslaved. They was just given the job to serve their sisters. That was all.
Hey, Yacoba, if you don't mind me asking my beloved brother, when you say apart from her, according to the Hebrew customs, just put it in the chat and then I'll keep reading, but let me know what you're trying to say. Because when he fulfilled her week, all he did was just work 7 years. That was it. So when the Bible say fulfill her week, we know that there's, to our calendar, according to this, is 7 days. Even in the Lord's, he didn't have to say Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, but we know 7 days, so that's 1 to 7. So we would call that a week in our time, or even the Most High call it a week in His time. So when he say fulfill her week, fulfill a week meaning fulfill the time that you just worked for her that first time, because he say fulfill her week again. So what was the first time he did? 7 years. He said, hey, do that again. He did 7 other years. So that's all it means. He just fulfilled her week. He worked 7 more years for Rachel. Anything you want to say, Sham?
No, you good.
Verse 29. And Laban gave to Jacob his daughter Bilhah, his maid, to be her maid. And he went in also unto Rachel. And he loved also Rachel more than Leah, and served with him yet 7 other years. Man, boy, hey, Sham, he loved this woman, boy.
Yep.
Man, he loved this woman. This man then did 14
years.
And then he did other 7 years. So how much is that? About 21, what, 21?
No. He did 7 years and did another 7. So he did 14 years altogether. He did 7 for Leah, 7 for Rachel. It's 14.
You sure, Sham?
Yeah, because Leah, he served 7 for Leah, was the first week, and then that was for Rachel, but he said he was beguiled. But Laban said because of the customs. So he said fulfill her week, and I'll give you her. So 7 plus 7, 14.
Okay. I thought I read it 3 times that it said that boy served another 7 years. That's why I said 21. But let me keep
Go back
going.
then. I don't think so.
Okay, in verse 20, and Jacob served 7 years, right, Sham? And then in verse 27, it say fulfill her week, and he did another 7, right? And then look, Sham, in verse 30, it say, and he went in also unto Rachel, and he loved Rachel more than Leah, and served with him yet other 7 years.
Oh, okay. I must have missed that. So he served 21 years just
21
because.
years.
Okay,
Yep,
so that, and this is why I was saying about why Zilpah and Bilhah were younger daughters, but came probably around at the marriageable age by the time Jacob went into them. Okay, so 21 years, I'm pretty sure they was at marriageable age. So go ahead.
I see you, Jacoby. You say, okay, you know how we had to separate the two, but try to preparing the bride for the marriage, like when Messiah returned for us. Now, but this right here is just a man working for a woman. Just like how the Bible say you should work in your vineyard for 6 years and the 7th year you got to rest. All this man did was work for a woman that he wanted so bad that he was willing to work for her. So when the Bible say fulfill her week, he just mean the 7 years you just did. That's all. But I understand what you're saying about a man being betrothed to a woman, because Jacob was not betrothed to Rachel. He just saw her and wanted her, and he was willing to work for her. Jacob was not promised to Rachel. When he went to go to his mother's brother and saw Rachel, he kissed Rachel, and when he laid his eyes upon her, he wanted her. He didn't know nothing about this woman. He just, oh man, I gotta have that right there. I want her.
Right.
What I gotta do, Laban? I'll work for her. I did 7 years. He told that boy, do another 7. Oh, yeah, he did another 7. He did 21 years. That means he wanted that woman so bad. It seemed like a few days to Jacob when he did all that. It was nothing to him. He wanted Rachel. He was not betrothed to her. And Sham know Hebrew way better than me, and I know betrothed mean to be engaged, right, Sham?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Betroth. So it's a pre-engagement. It's pretty much when you betroth to somebody, it's actually a marriage. So if somebody else lay with them or touch her, it's really adultery.
There you go.
I see what the brother Pedro put, Matthew 5:21. Pedro, what you have to understand is when Hamashiach Yeshua said that, Yahweh Shah, he was talking about men lusting after other men, women.
Other men, women.
Not just a woman that's not betrothed to anyone. That's not adultery because that woman not married to anybody or betrothed to anybody. She's a single woman. Adultery is when you're lusting after a woman that's married, because men was doing that back then during that time when he was walking. If you would have looked at our lesson about the multiple marriages and understanding Paul writings, you had a lot of fornication going on during that time in Rome where men were sleeping with their father wives. So this is why a lot of stuff that people read in the New Testament, they would say stuff that even the Messiah quoted, but don't understand why he was quoting the things that he was quoting, because it was a lot of stuff that the Israelites was doing in Rome. They were sleeping with their father wives and they weren't supposed to be doing that. So Paul said, hey, let every man have his own wife. And then Paul started preaching about men having one wife because that was the Roman customs of the law of nature, that men should be married to one woman because that was the Romans' belief, but that was not in the Israelite customs and beliefs. But Paul asked the Israelites to do that. So because he said, I'm asking permission, because they were living in the Gentile lands, pretty much telling them, follow the laws of the lands, which is, what is that? Romans 1:13, talking about the powers that be.
Absolutely.
So that's why he was asking them just to do certain things, because they was Hellenized and some of them was living like Gentiles and some of them was living in the lands of Rome. They wasn't down there in Jerusalem with the rest of the nation. So he was telling them to avoid this because it wasn't common amongst the Gentiles. It was the Israelites that was behaving like savagely like that. He was telling them just to be married to one, to cut fornication down, because they was trying to establish the church. Go ahead, Kjudah.
Verse 31. Now, I want y'all to pay attention to something very, very important. The Most High is a righteous Elohim. When I read these scriptures, man, there is none more righteous than this man, the way he think, the way he operate. He only do things that are righteous. The Most High didn't have a problem with Jacob liking Rachel. The Most High didn't have a problem with Jacob working for Rachel. He saw the woman. He wanted the woman. But the Most High do got a problem with this that I'm about to read. Verse 31. And when the Most High saw that Leah was hated, he opened her womb, but Rachel was barren.
Right. Now, see, this is a difference, because see, the Most High honor marriage. He loved marriage. So guess what? He didn't have a problem with Jacob being married to Rachel and Leah. He didn't like the fact that he didn't love her the same as Rachel, and he hated her. That was the issue. So we can see here is when you even have more than one spouse, you got to love them the same, or try to love them the same as your best, and not have favorites, because it, or not even hate it, because the scriptures tell you ain't supposed to hate your spouse either. I tell you not to be jealous or envy. You know what I'm saying, Kjudah? Yep. You ain't supposed to hate your spouse, family. Well, go ahead.
Now, Jacob, the Bible just said when he saw that Leah was hated, so that means that Leah was slighted in the relationship. She was not getting the same love that she saw her sister get. So the Most High in his righteousness didn't like what Jacob was doing. So guess what he do? He opened the womb of the one that was hated and not the one that was beloved. Righteousness. Righteousness. Now watch this. Verse 32. And Leah conceived and bare a son, and she called his name Reuben. For she said, surely the Lord hath looked upon my affliction. Now, therefore, my husband would love me. Rachel was already loved, but Leah was seeking love.
Right.
She was looking for love, but she couldn't get it because Jacob loved one woman, and that was Rachel. But you notice that by this being his wife also, the Lord don't like what you're doing, Jacob. Even though our forefather Jacob was a righteous man, the Lord do not like what he's doing right now.
Unrighteousness.
Unrighteousness in the Most High's eyes. That's why he tell us beauty is vain, family.
Right.
Beauty is vain.
I learned that.
I mean, do you not want a woman that look tender to your eye? Absolutely. But if that's the only reason why you marrying that woman, because that big donk, you out of pocket. What about the brains?
Yep.
What about
because you got women out here who look good, but they won't take care of their husband. They won't cook. They won't clean. They ain't gonna do this. You can't touch my hair. I need my nails and all this done. I ain't got time for this. But they don't want to cook. They don't want to clean. They don't want to serve you who you think you are. And I tell guys all the time, man, I don't want a woman like that. I don't care about how beautiful she thinks she is. And, you know, I want a woman that's willing to help out there, help me. So, and that's not the down sisters, or you know how some women say, oh, because you can't get a woman like me. Like, I don't care about that, man. I don't need a woman with the super voluptuous body. You know what I'm saying? That's not going to make me stay. It's your intellectual side, your brain, and a woman that's willing to love me and take care of me, you know, through the ups and downs, and not just quick to run out when you ain't got no money and we can't do this and I want to live a high life. You know what I'm saying, Kjudah?
I got you. Absolutely. Facts. Verse 33. And she conceived again and bare a son and said, because the Lord have heard that I was hated, he hath therefore given me this son also. And she called his name Simeon. And she conceived again. Come on, man. Do y'all not see this? How y'all think this made Rachel feel?
Right. And the reason why Leah is pregnant and having all these children is because to force Jacob to spend more time with Leah. She got the children. So who are you going to be around more now? He got to help out with the babies. You know what I mean? That makes his love stronger to grow with her. But Rachel doesn't have any children. And Quills and Scrolls asking you to read Jubilees is also 2K Judah if you want to.
Okay,
I just wanted to.
Let me see.
Wanted to let you know that.
Can y'all read Jubilees 36, 22 to 24? I got you. I got you, Quills. Yeah, just let us finish this and I got you already. Go ahead, Sham. You can finish saying what you're saying. I got you, my brother.
No, that's all I was saying. I just wanted to let you know that what he was asking. But other than that, she was giving them children so Jacob could spend more time with Leah as a family unit. You know what I'm saying? Because she do have the right as the head wife. She was the first wife. And he probably was spending more time with Rachel as if she was the head wife and she wasn't.
Verse 34, Sham. And she conceived again and bare a son and said, now this time will my husband be joined unto me, because I have borne him 3 sons. Therefore was his name called Levi. And she conceived again and bare a son. And she said, now will I praise the Lord. Therefore she called his name Judah and left barren. So do y'all see? The Most High did not have a problem with Jacob loving Rachel. The Most High had a problem how you love one and hated the other. That's a problem in our Father's eyes and in our King Yahshua HaMashiach eyes.
And see, and remember, I always get this example, K. Judah, about if you have multiple wives You got to treat them like you treat your children. Love them all the same. Don't have no favorites. Because we saw that same issue with Jacob when he loved Joseph more. That was his favorite child of all his children out of the 13. And the other brothers got jealous. So this is why Paul said in the scriptures, the things before our time was for our learning. So anybody out there who got multiple wives, treat them like your children, man. Love them all the same. Don't have no favorites. You do for one, do for the other. Do exactly the same. Don't try to give them equal time, everything. Be there, because if not, situations like this will occur.
Absolutely. Absolutely, Sham. Now let's go over to Genesis chapter 30. And we're going to pick it up at verse 1, because I'm about to, the whole point of this message was to answer our brother Pedro. And I want to show y'all something in the Bible that really hurt my soul about my forefather Jacob. When I read it to you, and we probably have all read this plenty of times, but it's something Jacob did that I read earlier. I was like, wow, like it really hit my soul hard, dog, what he did. And I'm going to read it to y'all. All right, let's go to Genesis chapter 30 and verse 1. It say, and Rachel saw that she bare Jacob no children. Rachel envied her sister and said unto Jacob, give me children, or else I die. And Jacob's anger was kindled against Rachel. And he said, am I in God's stead, who have withheld from thee the fruit of the womb? And she said, behold, my maid, Bilhah, go in unto her, and she shall bear upon my knees, that I may also have children by her. Watch this, Pedro. And she gave him Bilhah, her handmaid, to wife. Now, hold on. This sounds familiar. When Abraham and Sarah, and she told Abraham, go in unto Hagar, my maiden. What did the Bible say? She became Abraham's wife. So this is not just men just sleeping with women just to do it. These women became these men's wife. Just like Hagar, just like Bilhah, his wife. Right. Then he went in unto her. Then she had the child. I'm pointing that out because this is not adultery in any form, way, or fashion. Because these women was not betrothed to another man. They wasn't married to another man. Jacob did not marry them after another man then had them. None of this is going on. This is just Jacob with Rachel and Leah, and Rachel can't have children. So she say, go in unto Bilhah, my maid. And she became Jacob's wife. So this is not adultery or fornication. And remember this, all these people had their own tents. They was not sleeping under one tent. Leah had a tent, Rachel had a tent, Bilhah, Zilpah. They all had tents. So when they wanted to sleep with Jacob, he would go into their tent, not one tent, and they doing menage. None of that was going on. No menage. So we got to point all this out, because you got Negroes out here talking about, now we can all be in the same bed. No, you can't, Negro. You can't have no 3 women in one bed and y'all making out. If you don't stop it, man.
Exactly.
Gotta have different rooms. Stop.
Because then it's like you looking upon another woman's nakedness, which is a woman shouldn't be doing that unless they handmaidens, and it's like a midwife if they giving birth. But for anything sexually, same thing for males. We shouldn't be looking at another man's nakedness. Why? Because you see that what happened with them covering up Noah, throwing a blanket over his body when he was drunk. They walked backwards. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. Facts. Verse 3. And she said, behold, my maid Bilhah, go in unto her, and she shall bear upon my knees, that I may also have children by her. And she gave him Bilhah, her handmaid, to wife. And Jacob went in unto her, and Bilhah conceived, and bare Jacob a son. And Rachel said, Elohim have judged me, and have also heard my voice. and have given me a son. Therefore call she his name Dan. And Bilhah, Rachel's maid, conceived again, and bare
And
Jacob
Judah.
a second son. Go ahead.
And this is like what we brought out in the show. I think this is called like an invert marriage, where like how the brother would have to go into his brother's wife to bear him seed. This is the same thing. It's just the way that the females was doing it. She couldn't give birth, so she was going to use her sister. That way she could have children too. You see what I'm saying? People do this today, like, hey, you know, I want to have a child, my husband, but you know, my sister don't have nobody. Can you put a baby in her so we can have a baby together?
Surrogates.
Yeah, like a surrogate. So that's the word that they use, but the biblical term, I forgot. We have brought it out. I can't remember exactly the word, but this is pretty much the same thing because that's a law. Where if the brother die, you have to go into his wife to raise a son if they don't have none. But this is an example of what you're saying with the females, you know. But this is something that people don't want to speak on because, you know, it's a touchy situation with a lot of things. So, you know, some women can't have children, but they're the same bloodline. You see what I'm saying? So the genealogy don't change. I seen a woman married with her husband. She they had the mother, they implanted his semen into her mother and she carried the child for them. I don't know if you ever saw that. But yeah, her mother carried the child because she couldn't carry it. And her mother was like in her 60s and carried her grandchild for her daughter.
Wow. So Leah had 6 other sons. Leah also had Judah, the king that Yahshua
And she
come
had
out
a
of.
daughter. And she had Dinah, 7 children.
And Dinah. Yep. And Dinah, a daughter. I want you to notice something. Leah had Issachar that they call the Mexicans today. Do that make any sense to y'all? So Leah had Levi and Judah that we know on the 12 tribe chart. They say are dark-skinned people. But then Issachar also come out of Leah that they didn't switch and say Mexicans. Do that make any sense?
Judah, it's called a Levirate marriage. That's what it is.
Okay.
Levirate marriage. That's
Appreciate
what it is. I just seen it. Yeah.
Already. Sham, did you hear me though? They say that Issachar is the Mexicans, but Judah and Levi come from Leah, and Issachar come from Leah. So Judah and Levi was able to keep their dark melanin, but not Issachar, Sham.
Right.
Make it make sense, people. Issachar is not no Mexicans.
And my thing is, how do Dinah look? Her descendants, because they never speak on her. How did she look? Did she look like Puerto Rican?
Did she look like J-Lo?
You know? Right. You know, but you know them, the women don't matter.
Verse 7. And Bilhah, Rachel's maid, conceived again and bare Jacob a second son. And Rachel said, with great wrestling have I wrestled with my sister, and I have prevailed. And she called his name Naphtali. When Leah saw that she had left barren, she took Zilpah, her maid, and gave her Jacob to wife. There it go again. Y'all see what's going on? These are not just women Jacob sleeping with. These are women that became this man's wife. So let's just go ahead and put it in a nutshell. Jacob had 4 wives. 4 wives. Not 2 wives and then 2 concubines. No, 4 wives. These are all this man's wife, because once Jacob humbled them, he had to marry them. Because remember, these women are not betrothed to nobody. None of this is going on. This is not engagement. This is Jacob sleeping with 4 women. He humbled them and they became his wife. And these is how the 12 sons became about, family. So this is not adultery. This is not fornication. This is Jacob with his women that was not with no other man but Jacob.
Right.
But Jacob.
And it's a pure blood lineage because all of them are sisters. So none of the lineage changed. They all came from Laban's stock, which all was his four daughters, which are Hebrew Israelite Geno Cyrene women that he produced the nation of Israel, because they like to teach that the Israelites was always mixed or mixed. We were never mixed. We came through the lineage of a pure-blooded Hebrew Shemitic nation.
I'm about to ask a good question. Pedro say, what if the women's what if the previous women disagree, the wives? Well, Pedro, I guarantee you, my beloved brother, that Leah disagreed with Rachel, and Rachel disagreed with the union that Jacob had with her. And I'm pretty sure that Leah disagreed with the union that Jacob had with her. They was fighting, my brother. These two sisters, they were so into it that Rachel envied her sister, and Leah didn't like the fact that Jacob loved Rachel more. They was in the field getting mandrakes, my brother, fighting each other. Who gonna sleep with this man?
It's a scripture that says that Leah said something to Rachel like, you already took my husband.
Yeah, you already took my husband. What more do you want?
Right. Yeah. It's the scripture speaks about that, and Leah spoke about that. And that's why the Most High made the law that you shall not marry sisters out of, envy or jealousy. That's why that law came about, because of the situation with Jacob.
But I see what Pedro asking, Sham. I see Pedro asking, what if a wife disagree with multiple wives? Now, from my perspective, and Sham gonna give his. If a wife do not want her husband to take another wife, and this don't got nothing to do with that wife being jealous, it's just that she don't want to share her man with another woman, and the man still go do it, you're gonna cause so many problems in your house. Your wife may even leave you, brother. But if a woman agree with her husband taking another wife, nobody should get in that family's business, because the wife agree with it, the husband agree with it, the woman that they bringing in, she agree with it. That's their business. But we talking about, but Pedro talking about, what if a wife don't want to participate in this, and the man say, well, I'm gonna do it anyway. Partner, you are out of line. Because you don't supposed to do that to your wife you've been with for 10 years, and then you just gonna go grab you another woman, and she sitting up and telling you, I'm not comfortable with this. Brother, you're gonna cause some problems. You're gonna cause major problems. So if they agree upon it, nothing wrong with that. If they don't agree upon it and she say no and he say yeah, he gonna cause problems in that house. I'm telling you right now. You're gonna bring that woman in there, and her and your wife gonna go at it, boy, like cats and dogs. Because she told you she's not comfortable with this. And you told her, well, I'm gonna do what I want to do anyway. Well, hey, you're gonna cause problems. She may even leave you. And that's the woman you love. She might leave you, dog. Then you can get all the women you want, but they won't be like that wife you was with. You come on, bro. Like, you just getting a woman that you don't know just to get another wife to see how it's gonna go, brother. With a woman you've been with for 20 years that love you, you gonna throw that away, and she don't want to share you? You out of pocket, homie. She don't want that. She don't want that. Go ahead, Sham. You give your perspective.
No, I agree. You spoke on it both ways. I agree. I would have said the same thing. No, I wouldn't have said nothing different. But I agree. 100%.
Now, Pedro and the family in the chat, me and my brother Sham want you to know this too. Let's go, Sham. We're gonna stop right here, Sham, because we got to point this out, brother. Just in case, because we got to cover all bases, because me and Sham know how men on the internet can be. They'll be doing a video tomorrow talking about me and Sham was lying, and well, we didn't read this scripture, and we just making up stuff. Yeah, all right. Let's go to Exodus chapter 20 and verse 10. Let me and my brother point this out. Let me and my brother point this out right now. We're going to point this out right now. Hold on. Let me see. Yeah, let's go to Exodus 21 and verse 10. Watch this, family. We're going to cover all bases. I'm not going to leave no stone unturned. This is Exodus 21. And if I start at verse 1, it's going to talk about a man selling his daughter. But I want you to hear this, though. Listen to this point. Matter of fact, let me start at verse 1 so we can get context, because I don't like jumping to a middle of a verse. This is verse 1. Exodus 21, verse 1. Now these are the judgments which thou shalt set before them. Set before who, y'all? The children of Israel, right? Verse 2. If thou buy a Hebrew servant, as Sham was telling y'all, if we were serving each other, but it's not a slave. It's like Jeffrey from Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. Okay? It's like Jeffrey from Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. Not that you treating your brother like a slave or your sister.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? They can serve you, but it's like what Jeffrey was on the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. Okay, verse 2. If thou buy a Hebrew servant, 6 years shall he serve thee, and in the 7th he should go out free for nothing. And if he came in by himself, he should go out by himself. And if he were married, then his wife should go out with him. If he was married when he worked for you, his wife can go out with him. She is not prone to you. This is his wife that came in with him. But let's see if he give you a wife. Let's see. Verse 4. If his master have given him a wife, and she have borne him sons or daughters, the wife and her children should be her masters, and she should go out by himself. He should go out by himself, not with the wife and the children, but by himself. Verse 5. And if the servant shall plainly say, I love my master and my wife and my children, I would not go out free. Then his master shall bring him unto the judges, and he shall also bring him to the door, unto the door of the post. And his master shall bore his ear through with an awl, and he shall serve him forever. Here you go, family. Listen to this. And if a master sell his daughter to be a maidservant, she should not go out as the men servants do. If she please not her master, who have betrothed her to himself. Y'all heard that. He have betrothed this maidservant to himself. He marry her, right? Right, Sham? I just want to make sure I'm saying it right. Okay. Make sure I'm saying it right. Verse 8. If she please not her master, who have betrothed her to himself, then should he let her be redeemed, to sell her unto a strange nation, seeing he have no power, seeing he have deceitfully with her. And if he have betrothed her unto his son, he should deal with her after the manner of daughters. If he take him another wife, her food, her raiment, and her duty of marriage, shall he not diminish? There you go, family. This is totally different than what we read about Jacob. That's what I wanted to read this for. This right here is about men betrothing women. He don't want the woman. Then he betrothed her to the son. Man, you still the duty of marriage that you was gonna give her. You still gotta fulfill that. See, Pedro, Jacob he wasn't going through none of what I just read about betrothed, and he don't want the woman, and then she go be betrothed to another man. No, these women that Jacob got was not promised to anyone. Anyone.
Facts.
Go ahead, Sham.
No, you 100% facts. It was not promised to anybody. And Jacob went to where Isaac told him to go.
Yep. Facts. Facts. Absolutely. So I want to read that scripture, Sham, that the brother asked me in Jubilees. And if any scriptures you got, Sham, because I'm not done with the script, but anything else you want me to read to add to this, just let me know, my brother. But let's go to Jubilees, because Quail asked us to read this about Leah. And I'm glad I read all the books, because I hear a lot of people saying, oh, don't read this book, don't read that book. Well, the brother asked the question, and if I was just a King James-based believer and leave all the other books alone, I wouldn't be able to read what this man asking me. I read all our books, man. Jubilees. 36 and verse 22 to 24. And let me just get to 22. Okay, 21, 22. Okay. This is Jubilees chapter 36 and verse 22 to 24. And all her sons and his sons came to mourn over his wife Leah with him, and to comfort him regarding her, for he was lamenting her. For he loved her exceedingly after her sister Rachel died. For she was perfect and upright in all her ways, and honored Jacob, and all the days that she lived with him. He did not hear from her mouth as a harsh word, for she was gentle and peaceable and upright and honorable. And he remembered all her deeds, which he have done during her life. And he lamented her exceedingly, for he loved her with all his heart and with all his soul. Hey, thank you for asking me to read that. And this paints a good picture, and I'm going to tell you why. That's powerful, and I'm going to tell you why. In this society, and this do not go for all men or all women. Let me say this again. This do not go for all men, talking about our people, all black women or all black men. Sometimes you see people only get with people for the way they look, right? The Bible say that Rachel was tender-eyed, never said that she was an ugly woman or anything, because we know the Most High, everything he made was beautiful and everything he made was good. The Bible just said in Jubilees that that Leah never gave Jacob a harsh word. It's the sister that's sitting right over there. You know, got colorism going on. Oh, she too dark. Oh, she a little husky. She big boned. Oh, look at her eye. Look at them lips. Look at that nose. But that woman got knowledge and wisdom and understanding, and she not gonna make your life hell. But
Right.
you don't want her though, huh? You want big Udi Judy. You want big donkey donk Judy. Boy, your life hell, boy. You in court every day. She won't let you see your kid. But the woman you despise, oh man, she ugly. She never gave you any problem. She ain't put child support on you. Let you see your kids in your life. You in the kids' life. All the woman ever did was love you. The things that I'm saying, man, we despise the things that are good just for the appearance of another woman or man because the way they look. Ooh, girl, he's so fine. Ooh, man, look at that body on that girl right there, boy. But your life is hell, Negro.
Right.
Stop looking at looks and start looking at the brain of a woman, the brain of a man. A woman who is not going to give you any problems in this life and only build you up and you build her up and y'all work together. She might not always be the best looking, dog, but that brain is working, though. That brain is 100%, that intellect. That's all I wanted to say, Sham.
No, you're right, man. See, me and my wife been together a long time. I loved her through every stage and through our marriage, whether she was fat, smaller, when she wasn't looking so great going through it. I still loved her no matter what. That was my wife. So I wasn't trying to, shame her, put her down, make her feel no type of way. I know how women are insecure about their bodies. You know what I'm saying? That's the kind of husband I was being.
That's right,
for my wife, because I loved her no matter what.
If the Most High bless you with a wife that have looks, that's just a plus to you that he wanted to bless you with. A good man for a good woman and an evil man for an evil woman. The Most High would never give his servants that he love anything. So just because a woman might not be all that in the face or all that in the body, if the Most High give you a wife that love you, you better be thankful and grateful in the time we living in, because we got men and women of our stock that look at the wrong things when they get in a relationship. Do we really know how to pick a partner? That's why we got to pray and ask Yah to send that wife. Ask Yah to send that good husband. Ask Yah to send that good wife that's going to do right by you and you do right by her. There's nothing wrong with a woman that got a body, but what her brains at? There's nothing wrong with a man with a six-pack, but what her brains at? He don't know how to lead a household. He don't even know how to change a tire, but the six-pack kicking. She don't know how to cook, but boy, she do everything I need her to do in the bedroom. So when you done, then what? What else can she do? What else can you do?
Right.
Go ahead, Sham.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. You know, some of these women that get so hot, so then you can't even touch their hair. They got a bunch of fake weave in. You know, you can't make love to your wife without hair out, just to see her beautiful hair. She gotta have it tied up in a bonnet, and she don't want to break a nail. And you know, man, it's just crazy how crazy this stuff will get. Like, you know, and then like they don't want to be any type of natural or anything, and everything got to be just plastic Barbie doll made up.
Right.
You know,
right.
And it's not to put the sisters down, but you know, sometimes men like to see that woman naturally too. You know, I feel like you don't have to make up yourself to feel, beautiful or pretty. It's cool to enhance yourself sometimes if you want to do that. But you know, sometimes, man, we just, we want the human being that the Lord created. You know, I always said this: if I can love you without all that on, and on your worst day, and still want you and be with you and make love to you, then I can love you with that stuff on. You know what I'm saying, Kjudah?
Absolutely.
But
Absolutely.
yeah.
Sham, we going to Deuteronomy chapter 21, my brother, and then we'll answer questions, brother. If you got any scriptures, let me know. But Sham, we got to touch on this one. Now, I want y'all to know, in the book of Genesis, we read about Jacob, Leah, Rachel, Zilpah, and Bilhah, right? Now, Deuteronomy is far removed from the book of Genesis. Now, listen to what Yahweh said. And I see why he said this. Because sometimes some of our people just refuse to do the right thing, just based on who you love and who you don't love. But these are both of your women. These are both of the wives that you chose. But because one looked better than the other one, look at this right here. This is
No, they was not twins. Sorry,
okay.
Jake.
No,
I
no,
was
no,
answering
no.
the
Go
question.
ahead. No, go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah, Rachel and Leah was not twins. Leah was the oldest sister. I tell you that in the scriptures, but I don't think they was twins. They didn't say they was twins.
I got you, Pedro. Me and Sham will read that after this. What Pedro asked, what is the real difference between adultery and fornication? And to be honest with you, Pedro, I'd rather read it. So I'm gonna get both of them because me and Sham did a lesson called spiritual fornication, which is what we did against our husband, which is Yahweh. We did spiritual fornication, worshiping idols and committing adultery with idols in the sense of spiritual. But physical fornication or spiritual adultery or fornication is what we did against Yahweh. But physical adultery and fornication is when a man sleep with another man's wife. That's adultery. Or when a man is out here just sleeping with every woman that he see, and none of these is his wives. That's fornication.
It's fornication. Yep.
Or a woman doing it with every man. That's fornication.
Yep.
So adultery is if I see a man's wife, and in my mind I go, "Woo, man, I wish I had her." I just committed adultery with that man's wife, dog. I shouldn't be thinking nothing like that.
Yep.
Or
that's what the Messiah brought.
Right. Or if I'm sleeping with 10 women at one time, man, I am fornicating, dog. None of these is my wives.
Exactly. Right.
But we'll get to scriptures after this. This is Deuteronomy chapter 21 and verse 15. If you got any scripture, Sham, let me know.
Okay.
It said, if a man have two wives, one beloved and another hated. Now, why did he have to put this in here? Because he knows sometimes we ain't always gonna do right the way we be thinking. Right. If a man have two wives, one beloved and one hated, and they have borne him children, both the beloved and the hated, and if the firstborn son of hers that was hated, then he should be, when he maketh his sons to inherit that which he had, that he may not make the son of the beloved firstborn before the son of the hated, which is indeed the firstborn. There you go, y'all. So the Most High know our people's mind. Go ahead, Shane.
Right. Now, the understanding of the scripture, what we read and where it says hated,
it's really not saying that he hate the person, meaning that the marriage didn't work out. So, when a marriage don't work out with the first wife, usually the guy, he would leave or not deal with her anymore, and he's only dealing with the second wife that he went down, meaning the person. And now he's like, you know what? She's acting crazy. I ain't gonna do this. I'm gonna just give everything to him, to my, the one that he can deal with. You know what I'm saying, K Judah? And
Absolutely.
then the other son will get mad because he be like, oh, daddy ain't doing this for me or doing that for me. He giving everything to my little brother. It's supposed to go to me because he feels some type of way about the mother because of the way that she was. So that's basically what it's saying. But they use the word hated, but it's really talking about a marriage that didn't work out.
Absolutely, Sham. Thank you for that, my brother. Okay, Pedro, we'll deal with adultery first, what Christ said, and then we're gonna go and show you what Paul said about fornication. So let's go to
And
Matthew chapter 5. Go ahead, Sham. Now you
hold,
go ahead
hold
while I
on,
hit.
I want you to grab this scripture real quick.
I got you. Talk to
I
me.
don't know exactly where it's at, but where that Jacob made the covenant with Laban, and he told Jacob he could not marry nobody other than his daughters, to show you that all of the women was his daughters he married.
I got you. Hold up.
I was going to look it up. Let me look it up. Hold on.
Let me see. It say and Jacob get on it before he run down the angle.
Genesis 31, I believe.
Okay, I got you. Before I get out of here, too, before me and Sham get out of here, I'm going to read to y'all what Jacob did that really broke my soul. It really, yeah, man, it really made me go, wow, man. Like, wow. Okay, let me see. Laban's son saying, Jacob taking away everything. Laban, behold, Lord said unto Jacob, return unto thy land. God have taken away the cattle.
Yep, it's verse start at verse 48.
I got you right now. This is Genesis chapter 31 and verse 48. And
Oh wait, you can start at verse 45 so people can understand.
already.
Yeah, start at 45.
Genesis 31 and verse 45. And it reads, and Jacob took a
Wait.
stone.
I'm sorry.
I got you now. Go ahead.
My bad. We got to
No,
start
it's
at
good.
43.
I
Start at
got you.
43.
It's all good, my brother. All
Yeah,
right.
my bad. 43.
Oh, you good. Genesis 31 and verse 43. And Laban answered and said unto Jacob, these daughters are mine. Whoa, hold up. These daughters are my daughters. Hold up. These daughters are my daughters. One more time, KJ. And Laban answered and said unto Jacob, these daughters, why he didn't say, these two daughters and handmaids are mine?
Right.
He said, these daughters are my daughters, and these children are my children, and
Talking
these
about.
cattle are my cattle,
Uh-huh.
and all that thou seest is mine. And what
Right.
can I do this day unto thee? Unto these
So
my daughters, and unto their children which they have born.
so this is an example of like how we showed like selling a slave, and he was talking about if this master give a servant a wife and he have a wife and he have children by them. This is sort of like what he's trying to refer, but it's not the same
Absolutely.
situation because Jacob did not sell himself as a servant.
Excellent point. Excellent point,
Yeah.
Shannon. Yep.
But
Same
you
thing.
notice he's telling them that these daughters, meaning he's talking about all four of the women, his daughters. And he's talking about all the children that they born from him, from the women, meaning 13 kids that Jacob had.
Excellent point, boy. Excellent. Yeah. It's the same thing we just read. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's exactly what he's saying. These, they belong to me. What you talking about? I
Exactly.
gave my daughters to you. And I gave Bilhah and Silpah to my daughters, which means that all this belong to me, man. Even the cattle, all this is mine. These are my children. These are my daughters. What you mean talking about you leaving with my daughters and my children and my cattle? That's basically what he's saying, what I read in Exodus 21, family. This is what Laban is doing to Jacob right now. He telling Jacob, this mine. What you talking about? All this belong to me. But the Most High didn't like what Laban was doing, because Laban wasn't being fair with Jacob. Come on, man. The man that already worked 21 years. Get a man a break. Boy, you just want everything. Jesus. Excellent point, Sham, and excellent scripture, my brother. Now, Sham, let's go show what
No, keep going. Keep going down. We're gonna keep reading.
Okay.
I wanna hold on. Wait a minute. Actually, let me see. We could just jump. We probably don't need to read it all. Jump down to verse to the point. Yeah, jump down to verse 50.
I got you right now.
49.
Okay, I got you. This is Genesis chapter 31 and verse 49. And it reads, and Mizpah, he said, the Lord watch between me and thee when we are absent one from another. If thou should afflict my daughters, or if thou should take other wives besides my daughters.
There you have it, right there. If he take other wives besides his daughters, Jacob already had 4 wives. So how can he take other wives if none of these women? I mean, if all these women wasn't his daughters, Kjudah. So if Zilpah and Bilhah wasn't his daughters, how could he marry them?
Talk that talk, Shar, Sham. Excellent, man. Wow, excellent point, my brother. I told y'all that duo on YouTube.
So he's letting you know right now, he can take other wives besides his daughters. So if Zilpah and Bilhah went along with them and they left Laban, how could Zilpah and Bilhah not be his daughters?
That's an excellent point, because if he couldn't take other wives beside his daughters, and if he would have married anybody outside of his mother's brother's stock, come on, y'all.
Exactly.
Put 2 and 2 together. There you go.
And he's making a covenant. He's making a covenant right here. He made a covenant right here with Jacob, letting him know, you can't take any other wives besides my daughters. You already got all my daughters. So he let him know, he gave him all his children, all my daughters. He don't need no more wives. He was good. So, but go ahead.
No.
But you know, that's how we really need it, for real.
That was excellent, brother. That was excellent. Now, Sham, let's just show Pedro and the beloved family in the chat what is adultery, what is fornication. So the first scripture we'll go to show our brother Pedro what is adultery is Matthew chapter 5, and then we'll show you what is fornication. We're going to go to Matthew chapter 5, and Christ is going to say it, what is adultery. Y'all bear with me. Okay, we're going to Matthew chapter 5 and verse 32. A matter of fact, we're going to go up some. Let's go start at 31. Let's start at 31. Matthew chapter 5 and verse 31. Matthew chapter 5 and verse 31. And here it go, brother Pedro. Matthew chapter 5 and verse 31, and it reads, it had been said, whosoever shall put away his wife, let him give her a writing of divorcement. But I say unto you, that whosoever shall put away his wife, saving for the cause of fornication, causeth her to commit adultery. And whosoever shall marry her that is divorced, committed adultery. So if you divorce your wife and another man marry her, that's adultery. The only way you can put her a wife if it's fornication. So sleeping with another man's wife or sleeping with a woman that a man has put away in Yahshua's eyes, that's adultery. Because in the book of Paul, in the New Testament, Paul say, let y'all come back together. Like sometimes you separate, right? But let y'all come back together. But if your husband died, then you can remarry. So Yahshua keeping our confusion down that a woman that is put away by her husband, you can't just go get married to another man, then another man, then another man. Nah. Christ said, if you put your wife away, you gonna cause her to commit adultery. I wonder how you gonna do that. Because she gonna go marry another man, and that's your wife, dog. Unless it's for fornication. Now a person might say, well, what is fornication? You got two different type of fornication. You got spiritual fornication, you got physical fornication. Which one is this woman doing? We don't know. It didn't say. But whatever one a woman doing, you can't put her away unless it be for fornication. Then Christ said, if you put her away and she marry another man, that's adultery. That's what the book say. It's not what KJ saying or Sham saying. So
Right.
now I see why Yahshua say, let us come back together for like after a while. You know, you might be getting into it a little bit and y'all need to separate. But after that separation, y'all need to be joined back together because Yahshua don't want no confusion in the church. If we just get married and just divorcing and getting married and divorcing and getting married, Jesus, brother. Come on, sister. Jesus, what y'all doing? That's also fornication too. You know that, right? If you just keep divorcing women and get married to other women, nigga, Jesus. Well, you just every woman you get with and get married to them. Then you divorce them and get another woman. Then you divorce her and get another. Boy, you is committing fornication and adultery, boy. Go ahead, Shane.
Right. Yeah, it says that you can take back your ex-wife, but it is an abomination. That's if another man lies with her.
Absolutely. Talk to him.
That's what that is, because another man plowed the field. So no, you can't go back with your wife if another man lay with her, or adultery. Yeah, it's an abomination. That's tell us that in the scriptures. We ain't saying that. When Kjudah was saying separate, he was talking about separating from your mate for a while to give each other space, cool down time. You know, not doing anything sexual. That's what he was saying, pretty much. Not saying if she stepped out and got with somebody else and then she landed with another guy and then the Lord said come back together. That's not scriptural.
Yeah,
that's adultery.
Yeah, thank you for that, Sham, because that's not what I was saying. Thank you, brother, for clarifying it for me. Because that's exactly what I was saying. Just separating for a while so y'all get some space, take a deep breath, then y'all come back together. But not separating to where you go get other mates. No.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Sham, now let's show them fornication because we want to show you the two different type of fornication. Because like me and Sham said, you got spiritual fornication and you got physical fornication. Spiritual fornication is what we did against Yahshua and the Most High. What we was worshiping idols, we committed adultery on our husband, which represent Yahshua and the Most High. We did these things. So that was spiritual fornication. Because men in the nation of Israel, when he talk about adultery, we don't sleep with other men. So we could not have been committing physical adultery or physical fornication with other men. So he's talking spiritual fornication, spiritual adultery. This is 1 Corinthians chapter 6, Sham, and we're going 18 through 20.
Pedro says so physical fornication is the only acceptable reason for divorce. No, it could be so wait a minute. So physical fornication is the only acceptable reason for divorce. Yeah, and adultery.
Because look, Pedro, look at it like this. It don't have to just be physical fornication because Yahshua also
can be spiritual too.
Spiritual fornication because the Most High put us away for what? Spiritual fornication.
Right. Because if your wife start worshiping idols, she start worshiping idols, that's spiritual fornication.
Absolutely. And I can put her away for that because I don't want to worship idols and I'm telling her to stop and she's telling me, well, I ain't going to stop. I'm going to lead that woman, man. I'm not going to die in another person's sins. You want to worship idols, which is commit spiritual fornication against our maker and our king. And I'm telling you, no, we can't do that. And you telling me, well, I'm going to do it. That's spiritual fornication. And you committing adultery on the Most High Yah.
Right.
Because you giving that idol more praise and worship as if you was giving it to the Lord. So you're giving the glory away. That's adultery and spiritual fornication. But physical fornication and adultery is if I lay down with another man's wife, I just committed adultery, and I'm fornicating with her because she don't belong to me. Go ahead, Sham.
Right. An example of that is what happened to Solomon and how he was with those heathen women. And then they started setting up their gods in his house, in his temple, and that'll get your house judged.
Facts.
That's all I wanted to say.
Facts. All right, this is 1 Corinthians chapter 6 and 18 through 20. 1 Corinthians chapter 6 and 18. Matter of fact, 18. 1 Corinthians chapter 6, and we're gonna pick it up at verse 14. Watch this, y'all. It say, and Elohim have both raised up the Lord, and will also raise up us by his own power. Know ye not that your bodies are the members of Yahshua? Shall I then take the members of Yahshua and make them the members of a harlot? Yah forbid. What? Know ye not that he which is joined to a harlot is one body? For two, said he, should be one flesh. But he that is joined unto the Lord is one spirit. Flee fornication. Every sin that a man doeth is without the body. He that committed fornication sinned against his own body. Now, Paul didn't say which fornication. He just said fornication. But by precept and line upon line, we understand you have physical fornication, you have spiritual fornication. We sin against our own body, whether it be spiritual fornication or whether it be physical fornication. He said we shouldn't be doing that. So let me see what another good scripture. Okay, Hebrews chapter 13 and verse 4. And this is now this one that I'm talking about is about to tell you exactly what type of homongering or what we call fornication he's talking about. Hebrews chapter 13 and verse 4. And now he's talking about marriage. And this is why the Most High want us to be married, so we don't have to fornicate. We don't got to sleep around with other women. He want us to be married and have your wife, or is some people in our community that got more than one wife. And guess what? He can't go outside of his wives and just start sleeping with other women other than his wife. He committing fornication and adultery because he's sleeping around with other women. And adultery because he's sleeping around with other women on his wives. That's adultery and fornication. All right, this is Hebrews chapter 13. And I'm going to pick it up at verse 4. Listen to this, y'all. Hebrews chapter 13, verse 4. He say, marriage is honorable in all, and the bed undefiled. But whoremongers, what is a whoremonger? Just like a fornicator. A whoremonger is somebody that sleep around with a lot of people. Boy, you a whoremonger, boy. Every time I turn around, you got a different woman. Sister, you a whoremonger. Every time I turn around, you sleeping with a different man. Now, these people might not even be married, but they still whoremongers and committing fornication because you shouldn't be sleeping around with different men and women. But he said marriage is honorable. That's why we all need to have our own wives, so we don't have to fornicate, so we don't have to commit adultery, so we don't have to be whoremongers. Because let's be real, a lot of times men and women don't get married for what? Because they don't want to settle down with one person. They want to continue to be whoremongers and fornicators. Because marriage stops all of that where it's supposed to. Marriage stops all the whoremongering and fornication because let you have your own wife or wives. But Negroes say, no, I want to be single forever. Why? So he could be a whoremonger. Sisters say, I don't want to get married. Why? Because she whoremongering. And guess what? Just because a sister want to be single don't mean she whoremongering. You got some women have separated themselves from men, and some men have separated themselves for women, and they're not having sex with nobody. But a lot of times people don't want to get married because they don't want to settle down. They're having too much fun. But those who don't homemonger and fornicate and sleep around, big salute to you. Because they just want to separate themselves from all sexual immortality.
Right.
They don't want to sleep with nobody. They say, man, I'm separating myself for the Lord. So we got to look at it from different angles. Some people want to do it because they having fun and, like, have different partners. And some people do it because they separate themselves for the Lord's sake. It's just different ways to look at it. But we know that marriage is honorable in all. The Most High love marriage because it keeps down confusion, fornication, homongering, adultery, because you shouldn't be looking at my wife, dog, and I shouldn't be looking at your wife, and I shouldn't be fornicating with your wife, and you shouldn't be fornicating with my wife. You shouldn't be a homemonger with another man's wife. Go ahead, Sham.
And the problem that we have too, what people don't want to get married today, is because they so caught up in society, and they push the agenda of not having children. So a lot of people don't want to be fruitful and multiply no more. They push the excuse it's too expensive to take care of kids, and I could just party and have fun. They don't want to live by rules and standards either when you get married, and the responsibilities of coming when you in a marriage of someone and taking care of someone. So they rather have obligations where I ain't got to do this if my partner gets sick. I'm not obligated. I ain't married to her. You know what I mean? Something happened to her, I could just walk away.
Fact.
They don't want to
Fact.
take a covenant with the person that they with. They rather just lay with them, get their rocks off, and go about their business. And that's a issue that we have in our community as far as with our people right now as well.
Absolutely,
So
Sham.
it's just the culture that's being pushed on a lot of our people.
Excellent, Sham. Boy, Pedro be asking excellent questions. So, Pedro, you see this right here, family? Pedro said, understood, brethren. So if a Hebrew Israelite sister turn away from Yahshua Mashiach and goes and start worshiping white Jesus, Caesar Borgia, Christian church, divorce is indicated. Now, watch this, though, Pedro. I want to give you the flip side to it. Because if your wife chooses to do this, what I'm about to read, this is a good thing, brother. So watch this. Let's go to 1 Corinthians chapter 7 and verse 14, Pedro. Because, see, we don't want to just give one angle. We got to give line upon line and multiple angles from the precepts. That way, a person can understand that the Most High always leave a door open for y'all to come back together. Always. He's going to always want the reconciliation before anything. Really, the Lord hate divorce. He preferred that not to be so. But your father understand that if your wife or your husband is telling you, I am going to continue to worship idols, and there's nothing you can do to stop me, you better leave that person, because you might die in their sins, or you might die in her sins or his sins. Straight up. So it go the flip side to that, Pedro. 1 Corinthians chapter 7 and verse 14, my brother. And then I want to show you something else in the book of Galatians. This is 1 Corinthians chapter 17. And I'm going to pick it up at verse 13. And it reads, and if the woman which have an husband that believe not, and if he be pleased to dwell with her, let her not leave him. Why, Pedro? Because in your household, if you had a wife, Pedro, she don't believe nothing you believe in, but she is pleased to dwell with you and willing to not disrespect your beliefs. You don't eat pork, she don't buy pork. You don't eat the foul food, she won't bring it in the house. You doing Bible study on the Sabbath day, she don't get in your way. She not causing a uproar with your beliefs. She's pleased to dwell with you, brother. Don't leave that woman, because you're going to convert her eventually. Sister, don't leave your husband. Your behavior and your conduct is going to convert him eventually. So he say, if a woman have a husband that believe not, but he's pleased to dwell with her, don't leave him, sister. What else, Yahshua HaMashiach? Verse 14, for the unbelieving husband is sanctified by the wife, and the unbelieving wife is sanctified by the husband. As were your children unclean, but now are they holy. Why? because you converted your wife. You converted your husband. Now you raising your children who was once unclean in the faith of Yahshua HaMashiach and the Most High Yah. Now your children holy. Because my man daddy on the same page. You see how you sanctified your wife and you sanctified your husband? By your conduct and behavior. They saw the fruit that you was walking in and you converted them. You sanctified them. You set them apart for the Lord's work. That's power. That's power of Yahshua HaMashiach and the Most High. Your wife did not believe. Your husband didn't believe. You converted them. Not by beating their head over with scriptures, but just by your walk, your talk, your fruits. Go ahead, Sham.
Yeah, definitely. Like I said before, and like Kjudah said, the Most High never permitted divorce. It wasn't ever so from the beginning. But the Messiah said Moses gave us that from the hardness of, the hearts of the people. It was never permitted for divorce. You're supposed to be with the person until death,
Facts.
but
Facts.
it's just a fact that society now, people don't want to live under certain rules because they just want to do as they want, do as they will. They don't want to have obligation to, be with somebody and dedicate themselves to people.
Absolutely, Sham.
So that's a lot of the issues that we have going on in our community. And this is why you have a lot of the older folks that's not even with people. And I be hearing them like on these different shows and podcasts are saying, well, we ain't got to get married. We've been together so long and, we good where we at. We ain't got to be committed. So it's like we saying we committed, but we not committed. You know what I'm saying, K. Judah, which is strange, but
talk to him.
That's the thing in the world now. You know what I'm saying? People saying we ain't got to do it, when we should be married because you need that holy union, or, things don't work right without the Most High being in the presence. I'm going to just say that.
Absolutely, my brother. And yeah, Sham was just speaking about that, Quills. Absolutely. The Anthony Edwards situation, family. Anthony Edwards is out here he getting women pregnant, just women, because he got money, and we know how these women flock to these men with this status. So he got a woman pregnant. He don't want nothing to do with the baby. So and she using the baby as a way to come up. Nobody want the baby. So now y'all see this is fornication. This is not his wife. This is somebody he got pregnant. He don't want the baby. She want the baby. So she sitting up and telling the courts, I don't work. Go get a job. Find what you want to do in life, my sister, and pursue that instead of trying to get pregnant by these NBA players or athletes. Most of these men, they're not gonna want the baby. So you banking your money on child support from him, and this dude is talking about signing papers to give all rights away. He don't want nothing to do with the baby. That is fornication that he doing, y'all. We can't say adultery because it's not his wife. Or we can't say adultery because he's not married to anybody for to be committing adultery on a wife. This is fornication. This is homongering. This is homongering. So what he need to do is stop sleeping around with these women and getting them pregnant, dog, because from what I can see, he ain't gonna want the babies. So you might need to just chill, little homie, and slow down. And stop using your money as a cloak to be able to just think you can get any woman you want, because at the end of the day, yeah, they gonna let you between their legs, but you best believe they gonna put child support on you right after that. Because they know you don't want them. It's just a way for them to come up, man. And that's just the truth. So Anthony Edwards and other people like him, homongering and fornication, it ain't good, man. You're going to have multiple baby mamas. None of them ain't going to be your wife. You're going to get put on child support. You're going to have to come out of a lot of money monthly. And boy, you better hope after your NBA career is over with, you got something to bag up on. Because that's 18 years of some of you men been paying $35,000 a month, $16,000 a month. $45,000 a month, $100,000 a month. That's a lot of money, boy. 100 times 12. That's all you got to do. 100,000 times 12. That's the amount. That's a lot of money, Sham. $100,000 a month for 18 years. Boy, she didn't hit the jackpot. She hit the jackpot, Sham.
And you know, women been doing that for a long time though. They would use people with wealth to have a baby bomb so that they can live easy in society. This is nothing new, you know. And I wasn't even surprised when he didn't want the baby, you know. I mean, at his age, and for him messing with her at the age she is, she's in her 40s, I believe, and you know, he's what, 22 years old? I mean,
22,
make it make sense.
22 years old, Sham. 22, brother. Hey,
Yeah.
family. I made that my business, even as a young man. I did not want children by multiple women. That is not a game that I was willing to play. That is a hard life to manage. When you got a baby over here, that baby need time. You got a baby over here, that baby gonna need time. You got a baby over here, that baby gonna, man, that's a lot of time that you ain't you don't really have to give. But you gotta give it because you laid down with these women. See, it's good in the moment of pleasure, but after y'all have, you know, did what y'all needed to do, then you start thinking like, oh man, I wish I would have did this and I wish I would have did that. It's too late, man. So it's best to think with your brains instead of your other brain, because that thing make wrong decisions a lot of times. So you got to start thinking with the brain at the top, that brain, and just pause for a minute and say, man, do I really want to do this? Or at least strap up or something. Strap up. I mean, man, that's just I got a partner, man. He got about 5 different baby mamas. 5. Jesus. So I'm just saying, man, you know, you got to be real cautious and careful out here. Got to be careful, man. The brother Quill say that boy gave her 100,000. She took the money and kept the baby. The judge saw her play and allowed it. Yeah, he paid almost $2 million up front, and the judge allowed him to give up his rights. $2 million. $2 million. $2 million, y'all.
But it's sad because he only thinking about the money he gonna make in the NBA. Anything could happen. He could hurt his leg, be out there. Then he don't know what the child could become and be. You know what I mean? He just want to be out of life just so he can party and have fun. I believe that's the young brother making one of the biggest mistakes in his life. You know, and it's sad that, you know, people have to, you know, go through these things, but and you know, women out here are dirty. Some of these women are not playing, you know,
Oh,
fairly,
okay.
especially when it
Yeah,
comes to these young people. You know,
okay.
she looked for a come up to get pregnant off a guy. You know,
I got
I
you,
mean, a
brother.
woman that age, you know, jumping on a guy that's 22 and she's in her 40s. You know,
Right.
she wanted it. She already had one rich baby father. Now she got another one.
She got
But
another one.
that's what they do. People use their looks because she said something about to the people. Someone y'all hating on me. Sorry, you couldn't use your looks to get 2 rich men. You know what I mean? You know,
Oh,
because people were saying, oh, she thinks she hit the jackpot twice. You know what I mean? But
right.
you know, it's crazy.
My bad, Quills. Quills say no. He gave her 100,000 to get an abortion. She did not go get it. He paid all his child support already, almost 2 million. It's on the woman if she messes up the money. All 18 years paid. That is a lot of money. That's a lot of money. But hey, Quills, let's keep it real. That's why they bank their money and tell the judge that I mean that's why they bank going to court and telling the judge they want child support, because they know majority of the time they gonna get it monthly for 18 years. But I see what you saying, Quills. You saying, man, that's $2 million. You better do something with that. But that ain't the way the courts work. They be giving these sisters or women or whatever woman it is. It ain't just our sisters. It's women, period, who getting pregnant by athletes, and they are getting 50,000 a month, 60,000 a month, 100,000 a month. Man, it would just be better for you to do a one-time payout. Cause boy, that's a lot of money. And like Sham said, you better hope you don't get hurt, boy. Oh, you better hope them knees work for the next 15 years, boy. Cause that money go fast. Okay, Sham. Our brother Pedro said, now I understand why interracial marriages can but not necessarily can lead to spiritual fornication for a Hebrew Israelite. To be honest with you, Pedro, me and my brother Sham, we always make this statement. And even if people disagree with us, it's fine, man. We don't got to fight each other because we disagree on this fact. Me and Sham, we do not believe in interracial marriages. Why, Kjudah? Why, Sham? Because the Bible don't support it. That's
Nope.
why. The Bible does not support us. Man, you just heard what they told Jacob. Why Jacob couldn't just go marry who he wanted? He had to go to his mother's brother and get wives from that stock. In the book of Tobit, he married wives from his stock. Abraham from his stock. Isaac from his stock. See what I'm saying?
Yeah, it messed up the bloodline.
Mess up
It's the
the blood.
genealogy of the bloodline. And the
right.
bloodline is the most important thing in the scriptures when you're dealing with the Most High. This is why you have first, second, and third generation. Even LaVar Ball said if he mixed with a black woman, his children would have been stronger. LaMelo, Jello, and Lonzo. A lot of these half breeds have mental issues when it comes to not knowing what they are. And they most likely they usually take on the Gentile ways because the mother is the first teacher of the children. Go do your history on the house Negroes. They was really the half breeds. Majority of them was the half breeds that lived in the master house. And look who took down the Moors. It was their half breed brothers who was mongrels. And when you go into the scriptures and you go into the Hebrew, the Lord said they were cast outs or castaways, pretty much is what they are. They was cast out the nation. They was not accepted in the nation of Israel because of the mixing. And I believe a lot of them didn't even look like Hebrews. They looked like the other nations. So a lot of that is in scriptures. The Lord cast them out.
I'm about to read something to beg because me and my brother don't never like to just say something and we don't read it because we understand that we have people that listen in the background who take our words and they flip them. So let me go read while we are saying what we saying. This is the book of Ezra, chapter 9. Listen to your father words and not ours. Listen to Yahshua words and not ours. This is Ezra, chapter 9 and verse 1. Now, when these things was done, the princes came to me saying, the people of Israel and the priests and the Levites have not separated themselves from the people of the lands, doing according to their abominations, even of the Canaanites and the Hittites and the Perizzites and the Jebusites and the Ammonites and the Moabites and the Egyptians and the Amorites, for they have taken of their daughters for themselves and for their sons, so that the holy seed have mingled themselves with the people of those lands. Why did he say the holy seed? Once you mingle, you're not the holy seed no more. Now you're a watered down seed.
Yep. And the Lord don't like the mixing. Go ahead.
Yeah. No, I was going to ask you about that pedigree. What you told me about the pedigree.
Right. Your pedigree in Hebrew, they use the Hebrew word yalad, which means child. You read it in the English, it says pure blood. Absolutely. And when you look it up for a dog, it means mix. And also in the Hebrew under yalad, it also say mulatto, meaning Mama KJ that I was showing you in the Hebrew, it says mulatto. Mulatto is a mixed breed. Yep. So a child can be a mixed breed when what you would call a bastard when you interracial mixing. You don't want a mulatto in your pedigree either.
You want your pedigree to be pure blood, you know, pure blood of stock.
Pure blood of stock. Y'all heard my brother, and that's facts. Because in Numbers chapter 1 and verse 18, that they like to use to say you are what your father is. I'm telling you right now, man, for our people who believe this, we still love you. But no scriptures say if I lay down with a white woman or an Asian woman or and my child still an Israelite. That is not true, dog. That is
Nope.
not true. They lied to y'all about Ruth. Ruth is not a Moabite by blood. Let me say
Nope.
that again. Ruth is not a Moabite by blood. Every time somebody tell me Ruth is a Moabite, guess what I asked him? Can you show me how you would get to that understanding and what direction would you take to understanding history? They never know. And this not a knock to them. In order to understand Ruth, you got to go back to when they came out of Egypt. You got to go to the book of Numbers. You got to walk the history down from Numbers. Then you got to go to Joshua. Then you got to go to Judges. Then you go to Ruth. But if you just jumping straight to Ruth without understanding the history, what happened before you get to Ruth, you know, you're not going to understand what you're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
The place that Ruth come from was given to the Reubenites. Moses and them killed everything in the country of Moab. There were no survivors of Sihon, king of the Amorites. He took the land from the former king of Moab, and Moses and them took it from King Sihon of the Amorites, and they gave it to Reuben. So how can she be a Moabite by blood if Reuben was dwelling there for over 300 years? Make it make sense. And then they tell us that the harlot that's in the genealogy of Yahshua, they say that's the harlot.
Rahab.
That is a lie.
Yep.
Who did she marry?
Yep. They still pushing that too.
Still pushing that, because guess what the book say? The book say when they saved her and her family, they set her without the camp.
Mm-hmm.
The Bible never say she came into the camp. Y'all see how y'all be lying? They set her and her family without the camp. And Israel went on about their business because they made a covenant with her. And the Most High, he's going to hearken to his covenant, or the covenant that we make with people. Once it come out of our mouth, we got to keep it. So they made a covenant that they would not kill her family or her. So they had,
and that's why they see Rahab the harlot, and then you see Rahab in the genealogy. They don't say Rahab the harlot in the genealogy.
Talk to me, brother.
But they like to try to manipulate that because it's the same name. See, that's the issues in the Hebrew. Well, it's not issues, but that's just how the Hebrew is. And the Hebrew, the name is the name. So if it's king like David name, Dawad, right? It's going to be Dawad in the Old Testament. It'll be Dawad in the New Testament. But don't mean that's the same person. You see what I'm saying? So you have to understand distinctly on who's been talked about where. But they don't understand that. They just see because of the name there. Then they be like, see in the Hebrew, but it's not actually always talking about the same person because you got multiple people that has the same name in the scriptures.
Right. Absolutely. So, you know, if anybody don't have any other questions, you know, me and my brother wanted to come on. Our brother Pedro asked a good question like he always do. And we just wanted to come get that edification and also other edification. Like I say, man, me and Sham can answer any questions when it comes to the Bible. That doesn't mean we know everything, but that just means that me and my brother have a good understanding when people ask us questions, whether it's interracial marriage, whether it's the law, you know what I'm saying, whether it's the new covenant, whether it's the 12 tribe chart, whether it's the 144,000, whether it's the things in Revelation, whether it's prophecy, whatever a person asks, we can answer according to the spirit of the Most High in Yahshua, not according to our own spirit. So me and my brother
got a question. Quill's got a question. Yeah, go ahead.
He say, what would be worse, a mixed breed child or children born out of a defiled marriage bed, or children of incest? Man, boy, hey, that's a good question, Quills. And I'm gonna say every last one of them.
Yeah, it's all on a pretty much on the same level. It's all on the same level. It's not which worse because a child of incest is not good. A mixed breed is not good. It's pretty all the same, you know. They just it's abominable works, and they all was pretty much castaways. because of the certain situations. Only one that I seen that had mercy out of the whole incest children was King Rehoboam, but he was a full Shemitic man, and that was generations later down the line with Solomon.
Right.
That wasn't no fresh incest blood either, because that was generations later that Solomon married the Ammonite princess. And you see how that was too, Kjudah, look how many generations that was after Lot. You see what I'm saying?
Absolutely. Facts. Yep. Somebody tried to ask me and Sham, well, why y'all saying, I mean, there was a while ago when Sham had prepared an excellent lesson about Rehoboam. He was Solomon's son. And Solomon had him by Ammonitish princess. She was a queen. She was a queen. But look, them boys tried to think they was tripping up me and Sham. But as Sham told them, that still was of the Hebrew stock. Because Lot children are Hebrews. You see that?
Right.
So when Sham told him that, it had to be quiet. We ain't get no more questions. The point I'm making is that sometimes people don't ask us questions because they trying to get the answer, y'all. They trying to trip us up. And we know y'all don't be doing that, but people do that. Oh man, I'm gonna go over here and ask them this and see if they can answer. We can answer it, brother, because the Most High see your spirit, and we will study, and we keep our face in this book, so we can answer these questions. So you're not tripping us up. We know that Lot children are Hebrews. It's Abraham's nephew. Common sense. Go ahead, Sham.
No, you're right. The problem is they try to teach that they the Chinese and Japanese, so they want to say, well, that's the issue. When we know that the original children of Lot were Negroes, they're not the Chinese and Japanese. They just push that teaching, that doctrine, but we know that's a lie, because you can see plenty mixed children from ancestors today. They came out looking just like the people who they had the child by. It's pure blood. Show me in the scripture or anywhere where these children came out looking like other people. And then we already proved that the Chinese and Japanese, that's their natural look. They try to say that they look like that because of the ancestral blood and the children, they got Down syndrome. That's not true, because we showed African tribes that have swinky eyes and look just like them, and they naturally just look like that.
In Africa, right?
Yeah. So they came up with so many different lies.
Yep. Yeah, man, my brother showed that. Yep. Yeah, man. So, like I said, we here, to edify people, to answer questions. We don't run from questions. Some people you can't even ask them no questions, and they're gonna get upset with you. They're gonna kick you out their chat box. Me and my brother.
I agree, sister. What's fan posted? Okay. No, I was talking about the highlighted. Yeah, I agree with you saying. What I was speaking about the generations is because the Most High would clean up the blood, and you can come back in a congregation for certain generations, breeding in and breeding out. Yeah, that's what I was speaking on. I'm not saying that incest is right at all. I'm not speaking on that. I'm just saying that it was generations later when he married, the Ammonite princess.
Absolutely.
So, like I said, he was still a full Shemitic Hebrew man. He just had some incest blood running through his veins. That's all I was saying.
Do anybody have any more questions for me and Sham? Any other questions? Pedro, thank you, brother, for the questions. You always ask excellent questions, brother. And thank you for your wisdom, knowledge, and understanding also. Yeah, he always asks good questions, man. And I'm just happy we can touch on these things for him and the rest of our nation. Yeah, but do anybody have any other questions they want to ask for me and Sham? And let me just say this again. Y'all can go read this on your own. Adultery is a man sleeping with another man's wife, or a woman sleeping with another woman's husband. Fornication, what we did against the Most High. You have physical fornication, you have spiritual fornication, and we just read it in the in Paul's letters, and we read it when Yahshua was speaking in Matthew chapter 5. Adultery is if a man or woman sleeping with another woman's man's wife or husband. That's adultery. Fornication is if you sleeping around with different women and different men, and you're a whoremonger. Or you can be committing spiritual fornication, which is idol worship, things like that. Because whatever you put before the Most High and you worship it and give the glory that belongs to him to another, you are a fornicator spiritually. And we committed adultery on our husband, which is Yahweh, and Yahshua HaMashiach, which is our king. We committed fornication and adultery spiritually. So people just got to know the difference from a physical and the spiritual. Both lead to the same thing, getting punished. Both lead to the same thing, getting punished. We got punished as a nation, and if a man is sleeping with another man's wife or another woman's husband, you don't know what you're going to get. The Most High may plague your body for what you're doing. Or you may lose your life. Because the rage and jealousy of a man and woman, you cannot turn that anger away. Why you think people lose their life when a man or a woman catch a woman or a man with his wife or her husband? Sometimes people snap, man. And they'll kill you, them, and themselves. I can't have you. Nobody can't have you. Some people think like that. If Ruth judges she left was Reuben, you gotta give me the whole thing, Yaquaba. Hey, thank you, Methuselah. Yeah, me and my brother Sham, man. You know, we just try to make sure we thorough. So we don't leave no wiggle room for people coming to us later trying to gainsay. So yeah, we don't leave no wiggle room. Jacoba said if Ruth judges she left was Reuben. And then I'm just trying to get the rest, my brother. See what you're trying to ask. Big salute, One King Love, my brother. Big salute, Elder. Big salute. Okay. Torah said the tribe of Judah teach got a good study. Y'all willing, you can understand this study. Oh yeah, the tribe of Judah, the truth. Yeah, that's my brother right there. The tribe of Judah, the truth. And he know how to sing too. Got make some great music. Okay, I'm just trying to see what Yaquaba trying to ask y'all, and then me and Sham gonna get up out of here. Just trying to see what he's trying to ask. He say if Ruth judges she left was Reuben. Yeah, Yaquaba, I'm just trying to see what you're trying to ask before I end the live. Because I don't want to just end it and you trying to ask a question, brother. We know for a fact that the Reubenites, the Gadites, and the half tribe of Manasseh was dwelling east of the Jordan River. They were dwellers in the territories of Bashan. They was dwelling by the territories of the Moabites and the Ammonites, and also Edom, because Edom was down south from the Moabites. Edom territory is close to the territory of Judah and Jerusalem. You can look at that on the map. And the Levites, right? Because remember, Levite had cities in every tribe, family. So you got to remember that too. The Levites had cities in every tribe. So in the country of Moab, when it was given to the Reubenites, they had cities that the Levites can come in every tribe. And I got a map, and I'm going to show it to y'all. It got every name and city where the Levites had their residence at. And I have a map to show every name. So we got to understand that. You got to understand that. So Ruth was not a Moabite by blood. Ruth was a Israelite. No heathen got a book named after them in the Bible. I don't understand it. I'm lost. Y'all told me there's an Israelite book, but then y'all turn around and tell me heathens got books named after them. Now y'all telling me Job was an Edomite. Jesus, what's going on? Y'all told me Obadiah is an Edomite now. What is going on, man? I thought this was an Israelite book. Now y'all telling me heathens got books named after them? Y'all gotta stop, man. Y'all gotta stop, bro. Y'all done made Job a Edomite. Y'all done made Obadiah Edomite. You done made Ruth a heathen. You done made Timothy a heathen. I don't know what's going on, bro. Everybody a heathen now. But then y'all tell me the heathens can't teach the Bible. Yes, they can if they got books named after them. This ain't just your book then. So which one is it? Is it your book or is it everybody's book? Or are we the teachers of the book? I'm confused. Everybody is a heathen now. Next thing you know, they're going to say Jacob wasn't really an Israelite. He was mulatto. That boy Jacob, our ancestor, had 4 wives. And the 12 tribes of Israel come from these 4 women. Let me tell y'all something before we go. Jacob had to adopt Joseph's sons in order to receive the blessings of their father, because his children was not by Israelite women. So Jacob adopted them into the family. So now they represent their father, the tribe of Joseph. But they got Ephraim and Manasseh on the 12 tribe chart as 2 different tribes, and they not no tribe at all. Their father was the tribe, not them. Joseph is the tribe, not Ephraim and Manasseh. When they go through the gate in the Revelations, they going through one gate. It's called Joseph, not Ephraim and Manasseh gate. Anything you want to add before we get up out of here, Sham? Sure, Sham. I think my brother done fell asleep.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Anything you want to add before we shut it down, my brother? We about to get up out of here. We can get you some
That was
rest.
it. Yeah, man. I gotta get up early in the morning. Yeah, man. Most High bless everybody. I love everybody as always, man. Appreciate y'all.
Appreciate
you,
brother. Thank you. Yeah, my brother tired, man. You gotta get some rest. Hey, family, let me say this. Please don't be thinking that I'm up here and I got something against biracial people. Y'all better not start that mess. I don't got nothing against no biracial people. I don't look, whoever want to serve our power, you serve our power. Whoever want to come under the authority and power of the Almighty Yah, no Israelite can stop somebody that's individually trying to serve our power. I don't get in the way of that. That is above my pay rate, and I don't allow my feelings to get in the way of the truth. Whatever we feel about these heathens and what has happened, I don't allow that to get in the way of the truth. I don't allow my feelings to get in the way of the truth. Yes, they did us wrong. Yes, they continuously do things to bother us and try to put things in place to sabotage us. The Lord is going to handle it, Israel. He going to handle it. If I'm walking around in my feelings and emotion, you think I can teach this truth? And I'm all caught up in my feelings all the time. Every time I'm reading the scriptures, I'm in my feelings. No, man, you got to remove your feelings out the way and let his will be done, family. It's going to be done. We all playing a part. We playing a part. The heathens playing a part. We got judged for our part. They going to get judged for their part. They going to get it. So we ain't got to worry about it, family. Like right now, you got the young brother that stabbed that kid, right? You got all these people on the internet want this little kid to get the electric chair. Everybody on the internet bashing this little kid. But your mama and your daddy should have teach your children to keep their hands to themselves. Teach your children how to watch their mouth. Because my mama, she told us to watch our mouth and keep our hands to ourselves and let somebody put their hands on us. If you don't put your hands on me, I'm not going to put my hands on you. If you're not disrespecting me, I'm most certainly not going to disrespect you. Now, if you try to touch me, I'm going to defend myself at all costs because I want to be victorious. If you go a mile, I bet you I'm going an extra mile to do you, homie. But I avoid that when it comes to my own people. And I try to avoid that when it comes to heathens. But sometimes heathens just don't get it, family. We got to keep it 1,000. Can we keep it 1,000? Sometimes the heathens think that the law is behind them. And they think when they do something to us, they going to get off anyway. But when we do something to them, we get condemned by the same law that they say is a righteous law. So why that law don't work for us? Why it just work for you? So when you do something to my kind, We just supposed to shut up and take it. But when we defend ourselves against you, you crying wolf. Teach your kids to keep their hands to themselves, family. I see what's going on, and I know a lot of y'all see what's going on. The heathens are afraid. The heathens society is crumbling. So they just trying anything to get us to get out of character so we can get locked up and go to prison. Ain't nobody stupid. We see what you now the heathens got a compound where they doing fist to fist comeback. Talking about they preparing for war. Who you think they preparing for war for? They ain't preparing for war for the Mexicans or the Arabs or the Chinese or the Africans. They preparing to go to war with us, and we never did nothing to these heathens. We just did something against our Most High Yah, which is the ultimate betrayal. But you can't name me one thing we did against a heathen. We never burned down their cities. We never lynched their children on trees. We don't sabotage them. We don't go into their communities, wrecking shop. We don't bother heathens, but they continuously bother us. But nobody don't want to be truthful. They just want to say, man, stop always saying this and that of what they doing. I thought evil was evil. I thought I was supposed to call out all evil. But y'all just want me to call out the Israelite evil. You want me to leave the heathens alone. So guess what the heathens are doing now? When you speak on behalf of heathens, they going in black people comment section talking about, thank you so much. The black people need to do better. Y'all need to do better. Because your children was shooting up supermarkets while my people was shopping, having a good day. Your children shoot up schools when children trying to learn. Your children shoot up movie theaters when they just trying to watch a movie and eat some popcorn. Don't you ever tell us what we need to do in our community. You get your own house right. Gentile, European, Caucasian people, and all nations trying to tell us we need to do better. You need to teach your children better. Because we know at your dinner table, you teaching your children how they different from us. You not like them niggas. You better than them. And don't you ever put a nigga above you. Yeah, that's what y'all tell y'all children. While we at the dinner table telling our children how to do things righteously. Keep your hands to yourself. Because if that would have been a black mama or a black daddy and that black kid would have got stabbed, guess what that black parent would have said? We taught our son, you don't put your hands on nobody. Not the white parents. They blame the black kid for what they son did. And guess what the son just did, that white boy? He attacked his mama not too long ago. Yeah, y'all didn't know that, huh? And he had dope in his system. Oh, they ain't gonna tell you that, huh? So the stab wound didn't kill him. The boy had dope in his system. But they ain't gonna tell you that, though. They gonna tell you the black kid is a thug. Now you got black people making music videos talking about the black kid was a thug. But my question to you, goofball, what rap music was he listening to when that white boy came up on him? Y'all was just so stupid. Just dumb. Going against your own people to appease Caucasian people. That black kid defended himself. And in Texas, everybody carry a pocket knife. Some people carry a pig poker. I don't know if you know what a pig poker is. And they got guns on their waist. Everybody got a little pocket knife. I've been knowing that since I was a young boy. Everybody got a little knife in their back pocket. And you better not run up on them. They'll pig poker you. So I'm sick of all this. You want to condemn our brother Camelo, but then y'all want to give the white boy and let him go scot-free when he the one instigated the whole fight. He should keep his hands to himself. Teach your children that, people. Talking about this boy should get the electric chair. So, time out. This boy went to a church and a supermarket and shot all people in the store that look like me. He went to church and shot all people that look like me, and they say he need a psychological evaluation. He need a psychological evaluation. But when it's our people, look at this thug. Look at this criminal. It's the black culture. But when it's white kids, he got mental problems. He need help. He was a good student. He had a 4.0 GP. Well, the black kid had a 4.0 too. And the black kid saved a child life not too long ago. But you don't want to show that. You want to show the black kid holding guns when your white kid hold guns all the time in photos. White people, because it's mainly y'all. You have no idea what's coming to you. And that's why I don't even waste my time with y'all. I'd never try to explain nothing to a Caucasian person because they don't have the brain capacity to understand. All they do is point the finger and cry wolf. So I'm praying for our little brother Camelo. He defended himself. I'm not saying that the young kid that lost his life, I would never say that's good for him. Because, you know, I'm not wishing nobody got to lose their life. But at the end of the day, you Caucasian people need to teach your children to keep their hands to themselves. And this type of thing won't happen. So I say that and I'm out of here. I'm not finna be sitting up here going against my own people just to appease Caucasian people. Wrong is wrong. Because if this would have been some black kids that ran down on an old white man and beat the white man down, I'd be on this same panel saying, man, come on, man. Come on, black people. Go get your kids, man. And teach your kids they can't be stumping on the elderly people. I didn't did it before because wrong is right is right. So I don't take up for wrong. But I'm most certainly not finna be condemning my young brother because he stabbed this child and the child that he stabbed put his hands on this young brother. But when this young brother defended himself against your child, now you want to sit up there and talk about the black kid a thug. He in a photo holding guns. So your kids hold guns and shoot people with them guns. So be quiet. I'm out of here, family. Big salute to the family. I'm gone.
And it happened. Alexander the Greek took the earth like a captain. Killed the king of Persia, caught him slipping like he napping. The whole earth quiet before this man, he had power. Winning all them wars, lift his heart up like a tower. Then he got sick, called his men, split the kingdom. Crimes upon their head, but they multiplied evil. Wicked Israelites made a covenant with heathens. They doing the same thing right now, I can't believe them. Gentiles had them scared, Antiochus took Egypt. Next stop Jerusalem, he about to test the people. They took the showbread, golden altar, and menorah. All of this keep happening cause we keep breaking Torah. Antiochus went back to his lane, went to celebrate. 2 years later he put fire to them heaven gates. Burned Jerusalem down, took out women and he made them slaves. Letter from the king, everybody want people. So if you follow laws that ain't the king's, you better leave them. But if we leave our laws, then our God gonna leave us. Many Israelites went to Father when they heeded, sacrificing swine on the altar, stopping us from doing the burnt and the drink offering, profaning the Sabbath, knowing that it's gonna cost us. If we don't do these laws, it gon' cost us. But the spirit of Maccabees, if you wanna keep these laws and commandments, follow me. It's the spirit of Maccabees. If you wanna keep these laws and commandments, follow me. Yeah, hey, ain't no time for compromise. Need to show thyself a man. The heat is doing the same tricks, they about to do it all again. We going to war on Shabbat, tell the heaters we ain't playing. If you serious about them laws, out together we can stand. Don't be scared of the multitude, he go intervene. It ain't about the numbers, about power from Shemaim. Allah, Allah, Bahadam, Allah with the Malakim. Power in the blood, power with the mighty king. Back to the story, they won war after war. Got the land back, but the land was so torn. Ash upon their heads and they even ripped their gum. Got the land back, but the land was so torn. So they dedicated the sanctuary, built new altars. It might not be perfect, but we still keeping our culture. Go get that menorah, put them lights up in that temple. About to give them praise for everything we done been through. The feast of dedication.
Hey, One King Love, I agree with you, my brother. I agree with you about that brain capacity. Because a lot of our Israelite brothers and sisters, we're going to speak truth no matter what the truth is. We're not going to take up from evil where they're coming from our side. We're not going to take up for evil where it's coming from any other side. Evil and wrong is wrong. I done did so many videos calling out our people wickedness. Let's keep it real. We're going to call out our people wickedness. We're going to call out our wickedness. My problem is I only see a lot of people want to call out our people wickedness, and then you want to pacify these people. That ain't right, man. Because now you giving them a door to make excuses for their actions. And you can't do that. The same way we're not going to give Israel an excuse for their actions, we're not going to give anybody an excuse for their actions. We can't do that. So I'm just going to put it like that. Wrong is wrong and right is right. That young brother should not get no electric chair. And all you Caucasian people talking about he need to go to prison for life. Oh my God, I know y'all not talking. If I was y'all, I would be the last one to open my mouth. I'm just keeping it real. I just know how to be honest. It may hurt, it may sting. So it's the truth. Y'all should be the last people telling people about any moral compass. Please, Gentiles, white people, just be quiet. Just be quiet. You shouldn't tell nobody about going to jail. Please stop. Because we have not went around the world and done nothing to nobody as a people. The ultimate betrayal is us against Yah and Yahshua. Anything that got to do with you, get out of our way. We ain't done nothing to you. But you have done something to us. And you continuously do it. You won't leave us alone. We just want to be left alone. But you won't leave us alone. Because it's something mentally wrong with you. That's why you won't leave us alone. I'm just being real. Is all of y'all trying to mess with us? Probably not. But boy, I see a lot of videos. Y'all are upset that this young kid, Camelo, stabbed that kid, and y'all are mad, man, and y'all not even dealing with the fact that he should keep his hands to himself. I heard him and his brother was some bullies. Bullies. And I don't like bullies. I'm not saying I would have stabbed that kid, because I would have used these hands right here that I'm good with and gave that boy 2 black eyes and knocked his soul out his body. That's what I would have did. But everybody don't fight fair. Some people use weapons. And you got to know who you running up on. Because if not, you might lose your life. So in the words of my beloved sister August Dreams, thank y'all for coming to the Lion's Den with the CUC family, the FOPE family, and all my beloved brothers and sisters in the chat. Let's get it. And I want to say Israel rising up. And your brother Kjudah want to say shalom to the mighty nation of Israel. Salute, family.